Yep. Boom. Let's go.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Your favorite guys, the tech guys, back at it again. Thanks for joining us, Levon.
Next.
Bueller.
Bueller.
We got Chris.
Yep.
Ron Scott. All right, thank you everyone for joining us. As you guys know, tonight's conversation is definitely about this big Motorola Lenovo merger. But first and foremost, we definitely want to get into the Nexus, rumored Nexus, I guess, removal into the coming of the Google Play Edition devices. So, everyone chime in. Let us know what you think. Make sure you leave a comment on our comments for the Hangout.
Yeah. We already got a question, Lou back from Vegas. I'm glad to see you survived. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to answer that, and then I guess we'll jump on to that.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I didn't believe it to be true, but I thought it was just interesting, just an interesting or provocative thing to put out there in the universe.
Well, Rob, before you go any further, let's just anyone that's not able to see the chat, let's just tell them what.
Oh yeah, go. My bad. Yeah.
No, Lou's saying since the Nexus is rumored to be dying, which are lies, by the way. This is from Lou. Is having a Google Experience world really that bad? He himself loves the Google Experience Galaxy and gives you top specs with stock love minus some hardware-related tricks. So go ahead, Rod. Take over from there.
Yeah, I agree that it's probably not happening, but interesting. It really isn't a huge difference. The Google Play Edition devices gives you it gives you variety. I guess it gives OEMs the option to kind of be like a Nexus, but not quite. Like you didn't make the cut this year, but you can get on the Google Play team. Like you didn't make varsity, you get on JV team and make it and get out there and get it popping. But it's crazy how the Nexus program was designed to be something. With the HTC One, Nexus One, and then midway it kind of became the developer phone of choice, and then as of recently, in the fourth quarter, the Nexus 5 and the Chromecast was like top selling for Google as far as really contributing to their fourth quarter revenue. So that's interesting how the Nexus 5 has come kind of half moon, not quite full circle, into becoming a consumer favorite for Android users.
Right. Well, it's funny because we did talk about earlier on in I think our very first show how the Nexus devices are kind of taking a life of their own, and here's just more truth to the pudding that Nexus is definitely the Nexus devices, which start off as just a specialty device. It's really becoming what a lot of techies are kind of going for if you want something that's not too bogged down with all the extras that some of these other UIs can give you. And I don't think that it's dying. Definitely don't think it's dying. I think that it's just not going to maintain what it was when it first started. It's just becoming its own. It's taking a life of its own. These Google Play devices, they are definitely going to take a life of their own as well. They're going to become possibly that secondary device that people are going to want to run to if they're not as well versed with a Nexus. So, it's a lot to kind of think about. This open source with Android and just the way that the phone market is going. There's going to be a lot of competition. So now we're seeing competition within their own arenas. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Chris, take it.
I think something needs to happen with Google Play Editions and Nexus devices. I don't think that they coexist well. I think that they they don't balance. I think that they're cannibalizing themselves. There's no reason to have a Nexus line and a Google Play Edition line. I mean, they're basically the same thing. You're getting whatever the specs are on a top tier phone, but with the Google Play Edition, they cost you full retail, if not a few dollars more than full retail.
Yeah. Other than the Moto G, but yeah.
Right. Well, it's full retail for the Moto G.
Well, yeah. The free retail is like $180 anyway.
Right. This is what I'm saying. So it doesn't make sense to have the Google Play editions as they are. I actually would like to see those evolve into the Nexus line, so that you get the top tier Android phones every year, and they would be what we would call the Nexus ones. You get them as the Nexus phone. So whatever Samsung's top of the line phone is for that year, you get that as a Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
LG, HTC, that makes more sense.
Right. Well, just remember, Nexus, I guess, was one of those. That was one of those lines that was kind of. It was allowed across manufacturers. LG was able to do a Nexus. Asus was able to do a Nexus, and maybe that's what they're looking for, that best Nexus device from whichever manufacturer can produce it. I'd be very surprised if HTC and or Samsung end up jumping on to that Nexus boulder just to see where it's going to roll off to. It may very well just take on a brand new life.
I don't like the Nexus program the way it sits because it doesn't allow for change. I mean, every company is getting 2 years to make a Nexus, and
except HTC, they got shafted.
Well, and if they're going to do it that way, that's because I think this is something that's new.
Yes.
And if they're going to do it that way, then they need to say, okay, this company's getting it for the next 2 years. So we know what. I mean, there's no reason to play the games if you're just going to go with the same company every 2 years.
Right.
LG gets it 2 years, so next HTC or Motorola or Lenovo or whoever gets it for the next 2 years. It's just silly the way that the program is set up. It seems like there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Well, because I think they were just playing it by ear in the first place. They were really like, okay, you know what? Let's come out with this tool that we will give to developers to work on making smartphones smarter, and they gave it the Nexus name. But now, it's making money, and you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna chase after what's making money. Right. As Lou stated again, the other point is, that as it was pointed out, Nexus is becoming a consumer model. Where does it leave the developers?
Because developers are consumers too.
They are.
But they're going to basically, I would say that's going to leave them stuck with the overpriced developer editions of whatever comes out.
Well, that's why they offer I/O as an opportunity for a place to go and get a device for free, because that's what they do in I/O. They give you all the new stuff for free.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason why people go to I/O. Why everyone is so excited to go to I/O. Half the people that go to I/O don't care about anything that that Google's talking about. They just want the free stuff.
Yeah, they're not developers at all. They're like, man, I'm going to use Chromebook Pixel.
Right, exactly.
People clamoring this year. They like, I want that consumer glass.
Right.
I was trying to get to I/O. Hold up now.
But you're different. You're in media, technically.
No, right.
But for the average person, if they just want to go, like before I started doing this, I want to do I/O just so I could get the stuff. I don't care about the conferences.
Right.
I want the swag back.
Pretty much.
So developers need to. I mean, there are ways for developers to get devices. That people donate devices all the time on XDA and other sites like that.
Yeah.
And go on Craigslist and get it for cheap. I mean, I think that the Nexus program. I think that if they're going to continue to do the Nexus program or the Google Play program, all devices need to be cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to still be paying $600 for a phone.
Just like they learned with the Chromebooks.
Especially if they're going to want us to replace it every year.
Yeah, and they're on the Apple Samsung route where it's like new year, new Nexus. It's like I'm kind of stuck in contract. Or if you're gonna, like you said, if you're gonna offer a contract, off contract. It's like,
Right, it needs to be cheaper.
Can I
Right.
not?
$500 needs to be the top of the line. Like a Note 3 needs to be $500. The iPhone 64 gig iPhone 5 or
500.
whatever, that needs to be $500. That's top of the line. I'll even give you $600 as the very top of upper echelon for phones. Anything over that is just overkill. No one wants to pay that, and no one is. Look at Apple's. Look at the 5S sales. You could still get a 64 gig iPhone 5S. Oh, the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They were not out of stock.
Yeah, it
Right,
wasn't like
not out of stock at all.
Yeah.
At all, because no one's paying $800 for a phone. That's ridiculous. They'll wait and go on Craigslist and pay $300 extra, an extra $100 for it.
Yeah, you said it.
I think what a lot of the companies are really banking on. They're banking on being that everyone knows that the Nexus that Nexus lineup is it offers less of the extras from the UIs. I think they were really banking on the fact that people are going to run to that because like no one as many people that love the user interfaces for some of these companies, like some of us, I know myself, I like HTC's user interface. I like Google. Right, I like the user interface, but if I had the opportunity to go without the user interface, I probably would and just download some skins that would just appeal to me, but then I would have to go and do the extra work. But you have a lot of people.
But yeah, Android bought that life. They'll do it. They're like, who cares? I can make it my own.
Right.
Some more than others, of course, but yeah.
Right.
I'm one of the only people that hate stock Android.
You know, I like all of it.
Exist. I've come across a few people that's like, who cares about stock Android? I mean,
I think I like what Google is doing, but the OEMs are far 10 years ahead of Google as far as development is concerned. Google every year is trying to play catch up to the OEMs.
Right.
With stock Android. The newest version of stock Android is not going to have the same stuff that the OEM skins are going to put out. Like they just added the pull down. Samsung's had that for 3 years in their phones, where you can in the full screen app and you pull down on the screen and it shows you your notification bar.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They just added that. Samsung's had that for years. All the other OEMs put that in last year.
Yeah, and see now those are those things that I do like about Samsung and HTC. Right. That they're innovative like that.
They innovate.
Right.
Google's not innovating anymore. They're playing catch up, and that's why I don't like stock Android. It lacks so many good features that all the OEMs have.
Yeah. Well, Lou was just saying that when the Nexus was at I/O, it was to encourage the developers to program for the new OS while it was still but ugly chasing Apple. and you know what? That's like you just said.
Yeah.
The OS at the beginning wasn't that great. The developers, they helped to make it great, and in the process of making it great, the companies have decided, you know what, we're going to continue issuing stock Android devices so that developers can continue to work with it, continue to make it better as we're improving it. But like you said, it then delays the whole process on that stock Android. It gives the stock Android things that have been done by other manufacturers in their user interface, previous models. So.
Right.
Very true. And it's interesting that I was just kind of refreshing myself that this was Google's pretty much the Nexus and the Google Play. This is what their original goal for the Nexus, other than the developer stuff, was to sell a phone directly to the consumer, cut out the middleman, cut out the carrier. And
that's right.
And
I'm fine with cutting out the carrier.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
fine with that too. But it's like T-Mobile. Unleash on carrier.
Hey, I get my updates.
Hey, yeah, that's the thing. I
can't be mad at T-Mobile.
Yeah,
I get updates in a reasonable amount of time. Verizon, still waiting.
Yeah, you're right.
That Google Verizon's relationship that shit is personal. Because they're like, we're not gonna give it to you just cause. Like you're gonna have to wait. Like as of I think last year they gotten kind of better. Like instead of waiting like 6 months, it was like 3 months or something crazy.
Oh no, yeah, but but it still does become more of an issue with just releasing the updates when you know that someone that's on the same carrier, they get their update and you still have to wait almost a month before you get, your opportunity to update. It's nerve-wracking. I know someone who still has a Galaxy S3 that has not updated to the 4.2 yet. Why?
That's insane.
That's insane.
Insane.
I'm Verizon. And listen, I have Verizon.
They have 4.3 on Verizon.
Right, I know, but this person, they're still waiting for their 4.2, and I've tried to update. I've tried to reboot their phone, completely reboot the phone, so that they can get their update. It is not being pushed through.
Then that's a phone issue. They need to take the phone to Verizon.
Right, and that is the one thing that I did suggest to the person, that they need to go to the Verizon store, go to their tech support, and let them know that my phone's not updated.
Right, I guess I know now you should be able to pull down the update. You can go into the settings and go hit check for update, and it will show up.
And it should give it to you automatically, right?
It'll pull down. There's no reason that it's not. But updates are a big issue.
Yeah.
Carriers need to cut it out.
Talking about we got to do testing because Google just sent over some BS. Like, no, it doesn't take that long. Basically, like, why does it take so long to add bloatware? Or then you got to add bloatware and make sure it's not crashing your new OS or whatever.
Oh, did you say Windows 8.1? Huh? What? I'm sorry.
I have like the worst Windows 8 experience. Not the worst, just like it's non-existent. Like I may have played with 2 Windows 8 devices, and it's like, oh.
Windows 8 is a whole different. Windows 8 is a whole different.
It's a whole different monster.
Right, it's a whole different monster for a whole nother hour.
Yeah. We'll have to definitely do a show on Windows. Maybe we'll do it next week, because I'm pretty sure by then they'll announce the new CEO and all that.
Isn't Mono MWC next week?
No, I don't think it's next week. Isn't it? It may be the following week.
It may be. It's early February, maybe, right?
Hey, do we have any of our viewers that know when the MWC is? We're not exactly certain. Anyone knows that they're going, even?
Blue's going.
Blue is everywhere. Blue is everywhere.
Blue is like Visa, everywhere you want to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but so you know what? I guess that's enough about beating getting in on Nexus and what they're doing. Let's talk about this Lenovo Motorola merger. Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
Look, they may have saw the sale coming. People may have saw the sale coming. I didn't. I'm not saying I did.
No one saw the sale coming.
Lenovo, nobody saw them.
Right. Jumping into this mobile market the way that they are, and maybe it's not for the mobile market because
Oh no, it definitely is.
Well, see, the reason I said that, it's MWC is the 24th to 27th in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of February.
Yeah, the end of February. It's funny because Motorola. Remember before Google picked up Motorola, everyone was saying Motorola, not this year. So Brother Lou is not going to make it to MWC. It's all right, Brother Lou. We'll try to do a show that Friday. It's funny because with Motorola and Lenovo, with Motorola and Google, that kind of happened out of the blue. But everyone's like, it'd be great, the ideas of the two brains working together. One of the originators of the mobile.
Everyone was just as scared when Google bought Motorola as they are now that Lenovo's bought Motorola. Right,
but it gave hope for Motorola.
Everyone was scared that Motorola was going to become the next Palm.
The next Palm.
They kind of are.
I was sweating.
Well, no, they produce some good units while
they're not as bad, but
no, they didn't.
these are
Motorola was a global company before they were purchased by Google. Motorola was a staple in mobile communication, in communications for the last 60, 70, 80 years.
Then it got bad. And they had to split off,
and then Google bought Motorola, and then they basically killed Motorola, the company. Motorola is just a brand name now. It's like any one of these car companies, like Chevy. Chevy's not its own car company anymore. It's GMC.
It's a GM. Yeah, right. It's all GM, yeah.
Right, they're all GM. They're all brands. GM can sell Chevy to Honda if they want to. They'll still make Chevys. So they sold off all the parts to Motorola that made Motorola a company.
Yeah.
They kept for the patent. They bought Motorola for the patents.
And they kept them in the sale. I heard they kept most of them.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, being that they kept. So what does that then leave Motorola with? And that brings us back to.
And they kept Project Aura and all the other stuff they're working on.
Right. They sent a bunch of people over to work at Motorola, and then most of those people ended up working on the Project Aura team, and then Google took them back when they shipped off Motorola.
Yeah.
So Moto X and Moto X and the Moto G was really just smoke and mirrors for those people that was like, oh look, there's hope.
They said that was in the pipeline regardless of
the Google acquisition.
Yeah.
No, Moto X and Moto G were brand new. They were the first products of the Google Motorola merger. Everything before that was from the old Motorola line.
Right, that's those Ultras, the Droid Maxes, and those guys.
The original Droid, the Droid Max #2, the Droid Razr, the Razr HD.
The Ultra.
No, the Ultra. The Ultra is the Moto G. I mean the Moto X. The Droid Ultra is the Moto X.
Really?
Just skin for Verizon. Yeah, they came on at exactly the same time.
Huh. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I guess I would have to take features.
Yeah,
I have to take a look at it.
It's just a different body. Well, Moto X has a better body.
Right. It's a Moto X and a Droid body.
The Ultra has the Ferrari red body, right?
It does.
It comes in it, yeah.
In the red and the black, it has that red and that black body.
That gloss.
That gloss. Yeah. That candy apple wet look.
Moto X.
It's a Moto
X. Yeah. It has a better processor. The Verizon ones have better processors.
Yeah, because they got that.
The Moto X.
It has the X8.
Right, they have the updated processor, and they have the updated screen. I think they have higher quality screens. They're not 720p. I think they're 1080 screens because they're 5 inches.
Hey, we had got one of them. Let's see if we can find that. We discussed that, right, Rod?
Well, we were at the unveiling. I did the review. Yeah, I mean, I got a Moto.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of hunting. We're not gonna worry about it. But yeah, so.
No, what do you want to ask? I mean, I can pull it up while you're talking about something else.
Just check the processor and the screen on the Ultra and the Max.
I didn't do the Max. The Ultra had
the big battery.
I had the X8.
Bigger battery.
I had the X8 in it. The Motorola the X8 joint. It had that in it.
Okay, so it had the same processor then.
Okay. So all right. So it was. So in that case, did we get not to say fooled, but did we get a 5S and a 5C in the form of an Ultra and a Moto G?
No,
not really.
The 5C is the Moto G is a 10 times better device comparatively than the 5C. The 5C is last year's model in a new body, with a new back. It doesn't even have a new body; it's a new back.
Yeah, new back.
Okay.
But the Moto G is aiming at is what the 5C should have been.
Okay.
It's aimed at a completely different segment of the market.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were hoping that, and then since they do it, they're like, oh.
Right. That's why Apple's mad about the 5C sales. They haven't sold as many 5Cs as they were expecting to.
Of course.
Yeah, I heard that they probably had maybe a little more than half the warehouse still held on to. They're gonna start.
No one knows.
They're gonna start giving those things away, maybe.
Nah.
Who wants a 5C? Comment in our question box. Who wants a 5C?
Don't start that.
Yeah, wait. Look, we don't have one. I'm just saying. I'm curious to find out who all wants one. We don't have one to give. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Oh, to answer your question, Ultra had a 5-inch 720 Super AMOLED.
It was still 720, so it's really the same thing. It's just cut bigger.
It's just like yeah. Well, 0.3 inches.
Right.
Oh, not 3. 5.
0.2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
It's the same. They were literally the same devices, but they were all brand new. That was the first project that they had got a chance to work on.
And that was crazy because the new Droid lines unveiled literally like a week before Moto X, and it's like okay, this is everything we read about the Moto X. So I was like, okay, so there's no real surprise anymore.
Right, it's the same phone.
Yeah.
Everyone was surprised that Verizon got the Moto X as well because they're the same phone.
Right.
Yeah. It was like weird. It's like, why do you have both? But I guess, well, we know why, the Droid thing, but it's just like, all right, well, I guess.
You don't think the customization had anything to do with it? Because once the Moto X did drop, everyone had that customization feature, but...
Moto Maker came later.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Verizon didn't get it out the box. It was AT&T.
Oh, it was only AT&T, which hurt the brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Exclusive deals hurt brands, and that's exactly why the Moto X didn't do as well as it should have done.
Yeah, if they had Moto X, a Moto Maker for everybody from the gate, I think it would have been a way
much better seller.
And
it would have been a much better seller. I mean, name the last. I was listening to another podcast earlier today, and they were talking about the Moto X, and they said, name the last AT&T phone that's went gangbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
gonna go back some years.
Right, you're gonna go back to the original iPhone.
Yeah, that exclusivity that he held on.
Right,
5 years.
5 years.
It was like, nope.
Right, you're going back to the iPhones, and nothing has sold like the iPhone since the iPhone.
And you know what's funny? I was just reading earlier today that AT&T, with all their different promotions and their different pieces, they're still losing the battle now that T-Mobile has the iPhone. They are slowly losing that grip on their subscribers.
Well, they lost the grip on their subscribers once the iPhone went to other carriers.
Well, they're losing their grip on they are, but it's not to the point where they're like, oh, they're about to crumble.
Oh no, not at all.
Not at all. Everybody's losing subscribers to T-Mobile.
Yeah, right. That Un-carrier thing is for real.
My mother just removed 5 lines from Verizon to T-Mobile.
Wow.
There you go. And you can, and I'm surprised you didn't do it, L, because
I thought about it.
They got unlimited data.
I know.
ETF.
I know. Listen, if anything, it would be me that would be leaving. It wouldn't be my wife.
Oh, that's fine.
My wife, she's been Verizon since she's had a phone. It's a very long time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Look, that's a very long time.
How well that worked out.
Well, yeah, it
It has ups and downs, like any other carrier. I'm just busting chops.
Yeah. Well, I definitely was a fan of Verizon, and I am a fan of T-Mobile. It was just that T-Mobile, they didn't offer enough. Hey, don't do that. T-Mobile just didn't offer enough leniency, in my opinion, when it came to their troubleshooting methods. You call one day, they tell you one thing. You call another day, they tell you something completely different. And
they don't do that now.
Oh
yeah.
But they don't train them.
Right, but you know what? I have to say honestly, I haven't had as many problems with Verizon that I did with T-Mobile in like less than 2 years. I felt like I always had an issue with T-Mobile. But of course, it was also during BlackBerry and the BlackBerry curve, and that's not to throw jabs at. It's not to throw jabs at BlackBerry during that time, but that 4.6 to 5.0 switch up was really rough for T-Mobile, and I couldn't do it.
I do remember
for everybody.
Yeah, I do remember
BlackBerry
that. Funky.
BlackBerry's a joke. Anyways,
I like BlackBerry.
Yeah, we know.
I'm sorry.
All right,
okay.
so we covered that angle. Yeah, so we covered that angle. What about Lenovo's take on everything? They actually sell pretty well. Oh, go ahead.
I said it's great for Lenovo.
Yeah,
my editorial.
Yeah, their smartphones actually sell pretty well overseas. They're like top. They're like in the fifth place, which is pretty good.
Right.
Like anywhere outside the U.S., you come over here, it's like they make phones. So it's like, yeah, hopefully. Well,
Most people
I'm
don't
pretty
even
sure
know they
they're.
make computers.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So,
But we already know in the States, most of these companies, that's where they really lose their grip on markets, because T-Mobile and iPhone overseas dominating. But then when you come here, T-Mobile and iPhone was non-existent.
Yeah.
It's overseas. And I don't know what it is. It's almost as if, because either the bandwidth is just different overseas and it just allows for a lot more leniency, or the FCC ruling is, there is no FCC ruling maybe. What do you think it is, Chris? No FCC ruling?
they're far more stringent. Mobile has been a far larger part of the international community than it has been here.
Hell yes.
They've had mobile phones for 20. They've used mobile phones like we use them now for the last 15 years.
So they embraced it when it first came to the world, whereas over here we only embraced it at the the Voice Stream, and OmniPoint decided that they were going. OmniPoint decided they were going to allow regular people to get them. Right. Because mobile phones. You're right. Mobile phones were only allowed for a certain class of a certain level of people.
They were just too expensive. But the issue with that is there was a need for mobile phones here overseas. Here it's a luxury.
Yeah.
And now it's becoming a part of everyday life. It's becoming more of a necessity as people getting rid of their landlines. Overseas, you have people in the middle of nowhere who needed service, and cell phones connect over satellite.
Yeah.
Whereas landlines connect over telephone poles, and if there's one person for every 20 miles, they're not running lines to each person's house, because you're literally running a cable from one person's house to the next person's house.
Yeah.
Right.
Right back to the can and the string method.
Exactly. So they had to have mobile phones. Because once you get outside of the major cities, it's far more scarce. Population is far more scarce. Like Japan. Japan is Tokyo, Nagasaki, and then it's far.
Then it's far.
And that's literally what it's like. It's like driving the rest of the world is like driving across Nevada.
Right. Okay.
Driving in Nevada.
Right.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, once you get away from Vegas, it's like crickets and pitch black.
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, stay awake. It's the middle of the day. I know. Stay awake. You won't see nobody.
Right, exactly. So
don't get caught in the desert at night
on
a half a tank of gas. You just need to pull over.
Right. I mean, that's what it's like in the rest of the world. So they've had cell phones, and they've been a larger part of their lives for a very long time. That's why they're so prevalent everywhere else. If you go to Japan, they're giving you 50 gigs for $30 a month.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, right. Like who don't want that?
Right, because everyone uses their cell phone. Only places that you have Wi-Fi is in your house or in a cafe. Those are the only places that you have it. You use your mobile data for everything.
I wonder if any of our viewers, they can chime in a little bit. Maybe someone that's actually visited Japan, China.
I actually got that from someone in Japan. When they were putting the caps on, when they were talking about moving everybody to share data and all that other stuff, and putting caps on phone lines. Mm-hmm. I was on a blog, and someone from Japan was commenting on what it's like. He's like, we're just at the infancy. When this all started overseas, we got screwed the same way. But as time goes on, they're going to give you more and more data, because they want you to use the data.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't have it to use, there's nothing they can, no one's paying for 2 gigs of data, and if you want me to watch Netflix on it.
Oh,
right. Right, you're right. You're right. Oh. I had the horrible experience of needing to use my my hotspot multiple times over like the last month, and I had to share with other folks because where I work, the network was down, so had to use my mobile hotspot.
Right.
Realize how fast you can go through 8 gigs of data, and I was just like, holy cow. I didn't say cow people. I said something
Yeah.
else, but I got kids here. I was just like, dang, you know? It was crazy. It was crazy. 8 gigs. Out the window fast.
Right. It takes all. I mean, you can do it in a few minutes.
Yeah. And I used to be so proud of myself. Yeah, I only used 6 gigs. And that was like over a month. But that 8 gigs, that went in less than 15 days.
I use 2 gigs of data switching phones.
Right. Transferring the information.
Just downloading my apps and my emails and all that other stuff. I use 2 gigs of data. And putting my music back on my phone from Google Play Music. I use 2 gigs of data. I average 20 gigs of data a month.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 gigs. So.
Really, Rod? See, I would have thought more than that because I know that
a lot of Google Music streaming every day at work, which I use these review phones for.
Okay.
Got to push it, you know. What better way to push it than to do that? So that's daily expertise. And
that's right. And then Wi-Fi also. You know, you're going in and out of Wi-Fi, so that's actually the other thing that saves me because I swear if I didn't have the Wi-Fi at my house, and then you know, certain areas that I was going into, you know, I'm in and out of the Optimum where I was in and out of the Optimum Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. Verizon would owe my whole paycheck.
Not bad. Yeah, we kind of off kilter a bit.
No, you're right.
So.
All right, but Lenovo,
I know. Go ahead. I know Chris talked about it in his editorial. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It says where I'm out of it. What is was it Motorola? I forgot the title. You know it, Chris.
I said is.
Like,
but what about Motorola?
Right, but
what about Motorola? Yeah, I was about to say, what does it do now? Like, I know it's going to butcher it. That's why I avoid it. But what about Motorola? So, do you guys think they're going to do, you know, like how they did with Google, like Motorola, a Lenovo company? Or are they going to, that's what they should do, or you think it's going to merge and...
They're going to do the same thing that what I think is going to happen is it's the best case scenario is it's going to be Motorola in the U.S. is going to be like Verizon, then the Droid brand, and then Motorola, and then a Lenovo is going to be Motorola overseas.
Gotcha.
They're going to be the same phones. They're just going to look different, and there's going to be Motorola in the States. It's going to be Lenovo everywhere else.
Right.
Because no one respects Lenovo.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta
make beautiful phones. Their phones are gorgeous.
What, the Lenovo phones?
Yes.
Lenovo phones across seas are real nice?
Oh my gosh. Was it the K5000 or 500?
Yeah, their names are terrible. What? The S6? I'm like, what is this?
Right, the
2001? What is that?
Yeah, but you know what? That's the same thing that HTC VX6900. You know, all these companies,
that was a long time ago, though. Those names. Those are the current phones they announced to CES overseas. Like that, you know. You're not talking about old Verizon with the chocolate and the Voyager and all that. No, all these model numbers are the actual brand name and all that. It's like no, they need to.
That's new here in the last couple of years as Verizon has gotten bigger. On every other carrier, they didn't have names for their phones.
Yeah,
they were model numbers. Verizon was the only company, was the only carrier that required a model name.
Yeah, we're not gonna call it the VX.
Right.
Yeah.
But overseas, if you looked on LG's page overseas, it was the VX9000.
Yeah, and everybody knew it, and that's what it was. Like, yeah, I need that.
Right, they didn't know what a chocolate was.
Oh, that's the same phone. Like, what?
What? We're looking at you like you were crazy.
Exactly.
Well, you know, I actually just found, I guess this is the K900 here that I just found.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to put this up. Just for anyone, you know, that's watching, they can kind of see what it looks like. 'Cause this is actually my first time seeing it myself.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's a lie. I've seen this phone before. I just never knew. I thought it was like a prototype or something that Lenovo was working on, not knowing that this is something that they already have
Yeah, it's
available.
real. This is this year was their first. They announced their first LTE devices,
Hmm.
LTE smartphones. Yeah, Chris, I think you handled that.
Yeah,
So,
I did the Lenovo brief from CES, but Lenovo makes great phones. No one else has LTE in the world, by the way.
yeah,
LTE
it's
is
a
brand
U.S.
new.
thing.
Right, LTE is brand new. Europe was right behind us.
Yeah,
Japan has LTE, and that's about it.
yeah. So you still got a good chunk of the world
And not
still
even, and let's take that back. It's
rocking
not
it.
even Europe. It's Britain. Great Britain has LTE.
Yeah, was that the E carrier or something?
EE. No,
Yeah.
they all have it now. All of them.
Okay. Okay.
They're all rolling out LTE networks. EE was the first,
Okay.
and I think their network is the biggest.
Yeah, yeah. The
But
network is
all
huge.
3 has it. O2 has it.
Wow.
So are you putting up the K900?
You know what? I'm actually
Lost
trying
the
to put.
sauce.
Look, I'm
Lost
trying
in
to
the
put
sauce.
the A900 up, and it's not my screen share is not pulling up.
Interesting.
Fail.
Yeah. Fail well.
A horrible fail, especially after being able to pull up the
He pulls the
pulled up the
editorial.
editorial. Yeah, the editorial came up.
Yeah. Let's
That
say
sucks.
so we already all right. I'm presuming that the 2014 Moto X or whatever they decide to call it is already
Right.
done.
No, they're 18 months out.
No, not to say they'd announced it, but pretty much they're kind of ready to go, and they got to do.
Phone manufacturers are 18 months out. That's how far ahead their phones are.
Okay.
So the 5S is about to come out, and they're already finishing the not the 5S, the S5, Galaxy S5 is about to come out, and they've already finished. They're finishing up the S6.
Well, yeah, okay, I got you.
Right.
So you don't think they're gonna do any last minute? Well, no, they probably wouldn't do any changes.
You
Because
can't.
it's already.
I mean, you just can't do changes because at this point,
They're already,
ready.
you made thousands
Right.
of them. It's like, yeah,
Right.
we need to add a burn. No, you do it next time.
Yeah, next time catch you on the flip side, son. Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. All right, well, cool. So, all right. Other than Motorola, all right, we got the Moto X, Moto G. You think they might try to? Well, we know they probably won't do anything this year. Or they might try to squeeze something in. I doubt it. Like a prototype that's been on the back burner or something that they might try to squeeze out with some Lenovo influence by the end of the year. You think?
You know
Or
what?
just something to unveil, of course, not for sale because it wouldn't be ready, but just something to say, look out for this.
If anything, you know what I think they might do? They might rebrand like one of these Lenovo devices that's already out in the market overseas, rebrand it as a Motorola device here. Because you know what this Lenovo device looks like, the K900. It reminds me very much of the Droid joints. But what was before the Droid? What was the flat joint before the Droid? It was a Motorola device. It was an all silver screen.
Razer.
No, not the Razer. It was the all silver screen. It was a
P3 Droid, what's up?
yo, I wish I could bring this up. I'm gonna throw it in the chat. You guys will be able to see it
Yeah.
you guys will be able to see it in the chat. So I'm gonna throw it in the chat. Excuse me. Yo, it looks exactly like that phone.
Silver. Was it before the Razer or after?
Yeah, it was before the Razer. It was before the
The
Razer.
Rocker? No, the
No, no,
Rocker
no,
wasn't
no, no,
on
no. I'm not
silver.
talking about those Razers. I'm talking about All right, everyone. Sorry about the.
Apologies.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you all for sticking in there with us.
Or coming back.
Or coming back, exactly. Or coming back. So thank you guys. Yeah, so we did kind of want to just wrap up a little bit. You know, we're talking about how the Lenovo Motorola merger is working out.
Thanks.
Right?
Huh?
No, continue.
Yeah, yeah. So, the one thing that I was just making mention was that, you know, we're saying what are we expecting from the future of Lenovo and Motorola. Unfortunately, we have our comments turned off, so you won't be able to questions turned off, so you won't be able to send any questions. But maybe you could just join the group chat if you would like.
Yeah, you can just comment in the event page.
Yeah, or comment on the event page. There you go. So I just, you know, I was talking about how I think what we can expect from Lenovo is pretty much, you know, their K900 devices kind of being marketed as Motorola devices out this way in the States, whereas Lenovo has a pretty good, strong following everywhere else. This is actually one of the Lenovo devices that very much reminds me of a Motorola device. Hey Chris, do you remember which Motorola device that is that has the camera up in the corner just like this? It's a Motorola device.
Looks like Sony.
You talking about an
iPhone?
Older device? You talking about?
It is
trying to figure this out before we got cut off and.
Yeah, it's an older device. Yeah, it's an older device. It's made by Motorola. I'm actually about to look it up. I'm gonna find it.
I guess it kind of looks like the Razor.
Yeah, it wasn't the Razor.
Yeah, it wasn't the Razor.
I'm about to find it.
Looks like the Prada phone.
Oh yeah, it does look like the phone. Hold on. No, they didn't make it. I was like,
no, Motorola didn't make it.
LG made the Prada phone.
Yeah, sorry.
This was one of the. Oh man, it's killing me.
All right.
It's killing me. This did. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
the Motorola. I got it. You have it. Is 2012. This right here is one of the later versions of it. All right, I'm about to share this with you. All right, just give me a second. Every time I'm ready to share something, it don't want to work for me.
Exactly.
All right, here you go.
He's trying to tell you something.
Yeah, only stop sharing. I think y'all cut me off from sharing from last week. I think that's what happened.
Your good intentions.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna share crazy. All right. While you figure that out,
I guess this is one of the. I guess this is one of the droids. One of the droids.
Yeah, it's a Razor.
Was it the
Looks
Razor?
just like the Razor. Yeah.
The Droid Razor.
The Droid Razor, I guess, maybe. They did a sliding keyboard on the Droid Razor?
Only.
So it's not the Droid Razor.
Oh, you're talking about the Droid 3.
Droid 3. It was just one of the regular droids. It was just one of the regular droids, and they did it as an R2-D2 phone.
Oh, that's the Droid 2. That looks nothing like the Droid 2.
Yeah.
No. What? This is flatter. This is flatter, but I think it's
nothing like the Droid 2. The Droid 2 had large large sloped bezels on the sides around the phone.
It does.
It had the large bottom. The Droid 3 looks more like the Droid 3.
The 3, yeah, I agree with Chris. Yeah, the 2 was a good design.
Who had the little fingerprint, that little cursor thing?
All of them.
Yeah,
Who had the little cursor thing?
All the droids had that. They just redesigned it as they went, or every rendition of it. But,
Motorola droid. Maybe it was the original droid then. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of one of those phones. I swear.
All right. Well.
But anyway.
Now that you got that out.
Yeah, I got that out my system. Thank you.
Chris, what are your thoughts on outside of the editorial, I guess, what are your thoughts on, I guess, not Motorola for this year, because I'm pretty sure everything's in play. What about
Right.
for next year?
I think that I am worried that Motorola is going to lose its identity, and it's just going to be Lenovo US.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so that's my concern.
Okay.
Because they're doing good stuff. They've done a lot of good stuff. Google has helped them really step into their own lane with the active display, the active listening, the always listening features, the shaking to turn on they get to the camera. All
Yeah,
those
quick
kinds of things
capture.
right. Those things are fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Lenovo can get them a good camera.
Yeah, their optics has been terrible for God knows how long. But I mean, they're getting there. I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe Lenovo will help them get there. Lou says in 6 months, look out for the return of Motor Blur.
Well,
he's joking.
I pray to God he is.
Well,
all right, what skin does Lenovo use for their devices? I know it's a custom, but what UI would it resemble?
Well, the Yoga tab was almost like a.
No, I'm talking about these phones.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I honestly don't know anyone that has owned a Lenovo phone.
No. Well, I was just talking about as far as images. If anybody saw it.
Yeah, I'm looking now.
I don't believe they use a skin.
It's not stock.
I'm pulling it up now.
Like a.
Huh. I don't. It's kind of hard to see what they're using.
Well, as long as Lenovo can help Motorola on the optics side of things, I think that's the only part they're kind of lacking.
Oh no, they do have a skin. It's their skin.
It is yeah. Does it resemble somebody else's, like Sony's or Samsung? It's like their own kind of minimal thing.
It resembles crap.
Okay. All right.
And there you have it.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not the return of Motor Blur. Yeah, so
that's crap.
You know what that reminds me of? That looks like
LG from a couple years ago.
I would say a mesh of LG and Sony's older UIs.
Right.
Yeah.
Sony apps still look like that.
That phone looks like an Xperia too, which is crazy.
Right, that's what I just said. It looks like the Xperia.
Yeah, but yeah, they need to help. They need to help them out with the optics because the optics is like, come on.
Right. If we can get Lenovo hardware and Motorola software, they'd be the perfect phone.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what they're working on.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, they better be because I mean, as much as a lot of people, like pretty much everybody here enjoys all of Motorola's efforts for 2013, you know, it wasn't necessarily a success because, you know,
it's no money.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people aren't really fooled into thinking like, oh, these are deals after deals and deals. These are fire sales, one after another after another.
Right.
So,
but what they set up to be fire sales because it's not like they did what HP did with the $500 device and all of a sudden decided they want to sell it for $100.
No, that was a blatant that was like a desperation fire sale.
That's we're going out. We're shutting down this division. Get rid of the product.
Yeah, like. And
that's what they did. They shut down the division immediately after that.
Yeah.
And Palm is officially dead now. Actually.
Right. Yeah.
Palm died this week.
Officially. Yeah. HP.
Sold off. They sold
it off. Like, come on. I like what LG doing with the WebOS. That looks interesting for the TV.
Right.
But,
they sold off WebOS to LG, and they sold off the patents to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, as sad as I'm sad to see Palm, take that route, I'm pretty sure HP was going to do bullshit with
Nothing.
it anyway. They were going to put it, they were going to make a terrible use of it, and it'd have been like, just like kill me.
Nah, just kill me now.
That's what Palm would have said. But
Kill me now.
what do you think? What do you guys think we'll see as far as specs for the 2014 edition of the Moto X?
I think it will have a 1080p screen and a better processor. It might not actually have a 1080p screen. It'll have a higher processor though, and hopefully a better camera.
Yeah. I was about now. A better
Probably
camera is necessary.
Could probably be in the same shell.
You think so?
I mean, I think just when you talk about minor upgrades, maybe add a cool new software feature. They already talked about possible more customization with Moto Maker, and that's it. That's all you got to do.
Right. They're talking about more customization with Moto Maker. They can't afford to do all the stuff with Moto Maker and start with a brand new product.
Yeah.
They have to use the product that's already available to them.
Yeah, slight upgrades. I mean, it would be no different than what they do from the Nexus tablets.
And this was the beginning of product. This is the beginning of Project Aura.
Yeah. They
That
said being able to choose your screen display. I'm like, interesting. But Project Aura is in good hands, so you gotta worry about that. Skynet has them now.
Skynet.
Not Google has them, but they did buy a AI company though, which is like,
right.
It's like, why are you just talking about this? And, oh well.
Well, you know what? I think things kind of coming to fruition the way that it's supposed to, and maybe this is what was supposed to happen all along. Lenovo and Motorola, match made in heaven.
Do you know why Google bought Motorola?
For the patents.
They bought them for the patents so that they could, because Motorola has all of the original mobile patents. Right. They have a patent on Wi-Fi. They have a patent on airplane mode. They have a patent on call connectivity. How the phone connected to the internet.
Right.
And stuff. So they were going to try and use that to stop production of the iPhone, to stop sales of the iPhone.
Yep.
And then none of the courts would allow them to use that because they made a standard and then told everybody to use the standard. Now you want to stop them from using the standard.
Yeah. So
it's pretty much, hey, you know what? We created the radio, the bandwidth. Now you got to create your own bandwidth. How? Right. How do you go back and recreate something that's been around for over 50, 60 years?
Right. It's you created the automobile. You're buying the company that created the automobile and then telling everybody else they're not allowed to make automobiles anymore after you told them all to go out and make automobiles.
Because if it wasn't for my car making wheels, you guys can't even use circles no more. I want you guys using squares. Use squares.
But and that's why no court has approved of what Google was trying to do. So that's why Motorola, the whole thing with Motorola fell apart. Well, the patent war fell apart.
Oh. Yeah, that sucks.
Where's Lou? What is Lou? I want to know what Lou thinks about.
He said he had to run out. Yeah. He said to run out. That's why he left that Moto Blur, returned to Moto Blur, and dipped off.
I want to know what he thinks about the Google Samsung conversation.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, we can dive into it. I think that is I thought that was interesting.
I want to know
how it happened.
Right. I want to know whether he thinks it's just Motorola needs to cut back their services, or whether he thinks that whether he thinks that Samsung needs to cut back their services, or whether he thinks that they're cutting back TouchWiz too.
Right. Well, you know what? I think they can afford to cut back TouchWiz a bit.
Right. Everybody wants them to.
Yeah, everybody wants them to shut that down or tone it up.
No, not
make it look
right.
Good. Not right. Tone it down, but
just
it needs to become more in line with Holo guidelines, and I'm fine with it looking the way that it looks. It should be Samsung's version of Android. It should have a similar similar kind of design, but it should be Samsung's icons and layouts. But it should still fit in that same mold.
Right. Like if they was able to do that, then I don't think it would be that bad of a unit to just kind of like have and not have. It wouldn't have as many complaints.
I think that's where they're going. I think that's the route they're going because of I don't know if any of you've seen I know L you have, but I don't know if you've seen it, Chris. The Note 10.1 2014 edition has that kind of UI.
The magazine, and that's apparently where all this came from.
Yeah, they was like, y'all need to make touchpads like that on the phone for the S5. It's like,
well, that's what everyone said, and then but apparently that's what caused Google to have this meeting with Samsung because they're getting the rumor is that they were getting too far off the bandwagon, and Google wanted to rein them back in.
Yeah, you want to be down with this alliance, you better straighten up and kick you off.
But you can't say that to Samsung because Samsung has 700 million devices in the wild right now.
Right.
They just announced like 4 today. I'm like, I can't keep up with this stuff. Yeah.
No, they have 700 million devices in the wild right now. 700 million users of Samsung products.
It's crazy.
So, what can you say to them?
You can't. And they got the money to back it up too. They're like,
You can't tell them shit. You have to sit them down and have a conversation with them and try to work it out.
Yeah.
But you can't run around acting like you big dog. That's why I think Samsung was doing all of this, why they have all their separate services, why they're working on an OS of their own, because they're worried about Google and Motorola.
Yeah.
Right. Well, don't have to worry about Motorola anymore.
Problems averted. Yeah, they
which is also where this deal could have come from.
Right.
Because the timing was crazy.
Right. It could have come from that sit down.
Right. And you know what?
Because all of them were in the building at CES together. Samsung, Lenovo, Motorola, and Google were all there.
So somebody had a lot of backdoor conversations where that has gotten us to this point.
Right, but and you know what? I think everyone had already said it. We said it. We knew it. By Google buying Motorola, that was really a slap in the face to a lot of their partners. No, it was a slap in the face to a lot of their partners because it's like, how do you get into bed with this company that with obviously an ulterior motive, but how do you get in bed with this company that makes phones and we've been the biggest support of your OS for as long as we have with Samsung.
Yeah, I think that's what they took it as.
Well, that's what they took it as. Well, but truthfully, up until that point, Motorola was the largest seller of Android phones because they're the ones who had the Droid.
Yeah, when they were popular and doing well, everybody had one.
Right. But that's when they bought Motorola. They bought Motorola after the Droid 3.
Yeah.
Samsung was just beginning to pick up steam with the Galaxy S2.
S2, yeah, because S1.
The S1 was overlooked. The S1 was overlooked because I think everybody realized that UI that UI that they introduced was just so much the iPhone without without the Apple on it.
It still is iPhone clone.
No, I don't think so. I think the Galaxy S4 has a life of its own.
They're getting there.
Right.
The Galaxy S4 has a life of its own.
They are moving away from it, but no, I mean, this still has the home button. Until it gets rid of the home button, it's an iPhone clone. I mean,
we'll see what they do with yeah, well, I would say we'll see what the S5. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a home button, so never mind. I know ACC was talking about getting away from hardware buttons, like kind of going the Nexus on screen route. I was like, I hope this work out because I don't think you guys can survive another year.
Samsung's supposed to be doing it too now after the conversation with Google.
That might be as much as I love ACC.
They said that they're now open to doing all those kinds of things post-conversation with Google.
Wow.
That might be the nail in ACC's coffin.
You think so?
HTC, you want to know what the nail of HTC's coffin is? Peter Chow.
The man himself.
They're not going to do anything great until they fire him.
Just like Nintendo, get rid of the CEO.
Right.
Cats are stubborn in their ways.
Nintendo's putting out phone apps, but they won't put out anything that's in their current lineup.
Stupid.
Exactly.
Ass backward. That's a waste of time for developers to do. Like, why you even do that? Like, you might as well just make. You're pretty much making online coloring books. Like, I want a game, damn it.
Online
Did you hear
coloring
that they're
books.
making a fitness accessory that's not a wearable?
I heard about that. I'm like, so you're making the Wii controller an accessory.
Right. They're gonna pair it with your Wii, with your.
You go
Wii
put the
remote.
nunchuck on your belt, and it's gonna read everything.
Right.
It's gonna be your pedometer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, from what the rumor said about HTC, the whatever they call it, the OnePlus, One 2, whatever they wind up calling their flagship of this year, it's like it already just seems like a slight revamp of the One. Not even like. Not even nothing crazy. Like I'm pretty sure the S5 would probably be a little bit better.
If they put a camera on that, if they put a real camera on the One, it'll be the best. It'll be the best phone of the year. Put an updated processor in it and put a real camera on it. Doesn't even have to change the body.
Yeah.
Make it standard black instead of silver.
Yes. Yeah, 'cause that black HTC One is. Whew.
Make it black and release the black one and the gold one and a red one. Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Burn all those other colors.
And you have the best phone of the year. The One was fantastic. The camera sucked.
Yeah, I like the camera, but it's not going to hold its own against the competition, though.
I like the camera too, as long as I was 3 feet away from what I was shooting. 3 feet or less away from what I was shooting.
You know what I say, and I know it's never gonna happen. Not BlackBerry. Stop it. Y'all got jokes.
Hey, you said it.
No.
Stop.
Nokia just needs to come out with one Android phone just so they can say they can. Just so they can say they can do it.
You mean Windows?
No. Nokia needs to come out with one Android
Windows.
phone.
There's no such company as Nokia Mobile.
Yeah, you got to keep. Yeah.
It's Windows.
They're one now. Microsoft. Boom.
Okay.
That's what everybody wanted. That's why Microsoft bought Nokia.
Yeah, that's crazy because it's like I knew that was gonna. Everybody who was in the know kind of was waiting for it because it was like the head of Nokia is a freaking former Microsoft guy. So it was like, when is it gonna happen? You know it's not happening.
That's the only criticism about the Lumia devices was they needed Android.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how many people would pay for an Android-powered Lumia?
You know what? I'll tell you honestly, if they would have put something that would never happen, they would have put iOS in the Lumia, I would have jumped at it too. Anything but Windows.
I'll take Windows over iOS on that device.
Windows is getting better, but I still need more. I
would take iOS.
On board.
Right, I would take iOS over Windows, and I love the Windows when they first came out.
iPhone over a Windows device. I will not take iOS on a Lumia device over Windows on a Lumia device.
Why?
Because it's not made for that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know how terrible that experience would be. You take great pictures, but that's about it.
That's what you got now.
I was about to say that.
That's what you got now. You can take great pictures. You can take great pictures, but that's it. I would get.
It needs Android.
But no, I know it needs Android, but I'm just saying.
For Android.
Well, the Normandy device is supposed to be Android, but it's supposed to be like a. Is it supposed to be Android or Asha?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Android, but everyone is forecasting if it ever shows up that it will be a budget phone.
Yeah, so screw everything I was just about to say. That's a null and valid point because until they ready to bring that to a Lumia or make it really worthwhile in the conversation,
right. They just need to release a source code. They need to put code Android for the hardware that they have now. I don't even need a special phone.
Yeah,
just give me Android that I can download onto a 1020.
Yeah, a 1020 or a 13. You know, 13 ain't got to be that joint.
I don't need a phone. I am fine with the hardware that's out there. Just give it to me.
9,000 IL communicated. That's what I want.
I would die to have
Nope.
a 1020 with Android running on it.
Yeah.
And
I
all
feel
the
that way
Windows
about
software.
I feel that way about 1320.
That's too big. It's like 6-inch. It's like a 6-inch screen.
I think any Nokia device other than the 710 or the 810 running Android
Or
would
the
probably be great.
521.
Okay, or the 521. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
like
Let's talk about their good phones. Let's not talk about their phones they released to us 3 years after they were released everywhere else.
No, those are all new phones.
No, they're new. They came out in the last like 6 months.
Right.
Yeah,
All those
but
phones are
Believe
new.
it or not.
but they had to be 5 years old everywhere else though.
No, they're just budget phones. They're made to be
Yeah.
cheap. It's like the Moto G.
Moto G.
They're right. They're the Moto Gs.
Yeah, but the Moto G looks good.
All the Windows phones look good too. They just
So
have
they
terrible
they
specs.
just look the same. Yeah, but
Right. It's one form factor.
yeah,
It's just how nice the
they can
camera
read it.
is.
Yeah.
And they've all gotten great reviews.
Yeah. At this point, it's like HTC and Samsung probably should stop making Windows phones.
They'd have.
Well, yeah,
Samsung has already said that they're not making another Windows phone, and
There's no
HTC, I believe,
point.
said that they weren't either. That their project has been put on hold.
Samsung's they're gonna continue making the tablets though, the Windows tablets. But yeah, they don't need to make the phones.
I don't think they're making Windows tablets.
No, they're not making Windows tablets.
Yeah, don't they have an Ativa 2 coming soon?
Mm-mm.
The TV, the laptop.
Ativa was the phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was
They made one Windows phone to say that they had a Windows phone, and no one bought it.
This year, yeah.
They made it 3 years ago. That phone was 3 years old.
Yeah, but I thought they had the tablet too, though.
No, that's only Nokia has a tablet.
Yeah, Nokia's the only one that has a Windows tablet.
Well, no, Nokia has one.
HTC was supposed to make one, but no one bought their phone, and then they said that they weren't making another Windows device.
Yeah, they're like, why waste the money and time?
Right. No one's gonna buy
smart.
it.
We already got enough trouble. Like,
Right, we have enough problems.
Yeah. So, all right, wrap things up. Lenovo, Motorola powered by Lenovo. Is we looking forward to it or just kind of curious?
I'm curious and a bit apprehensive.
As long as they don't fade into the background, you're good, Chris.
Right. I just want it. I want them to let Motorola be Motorola.
Yeah.
Like Ford does with Mazda. Mazda's the only company that Ford doesn't mess with. That Ford owns that they don't mess with.
Mm.
They leave them out and let them do their hippie thing out in California.
Yeah.
All the day.
And create better looking Priuses.
So, I hope that they just leave. I hope that they learn from each other, but they leave them alone. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Let them make. If you want to help them make a better quality hardware, like get a better cameras and put better processors with their software, awesome. I would even be fine with Lenovo changing their software to look like Motorola's and Lenovo hardware. That I'm fine with.
Yeah.
If you want to do that and be one company, cool. I'm all fine with that all day. But they don't need help on the software side, and that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm worried that's going to disappear.
Well, that's always one of those concerns because everyone's going to think that their way was better than someone else's way, and I just hope that they pay attention to what the consumers, what their reviews have said, and they kind of hold on to all the great things about Motorola, right, and just merge with, maybe Lenovo has some good things, but try not to change the look of what Motorola has created and kind of refined.
I think Motorola was actually despite what their earnings call on them saying that they're losing money, I actually think Motorola was in a good place. We're a year or two away from being profitable.
I agree.
The only reason that the Moto X wasn't profitable, and there's two reasons why the Moto X wasn't profitable and didn't sell well. One, Moneymaker was exclusive to AT&T for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And then two, it was $600 for year-old specs.
Yeah.
You can't sell the phone on year-old specs and then tell me you want me to pay brand new phone price.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, that's why they sold so well on Black Friday.
it's a little crackhead.
Right, at $250.
No, it was 350.
Was it 350?
350 off contract.
Yeah, it's 350 off contract. Yeah, it was the same price as the Nexus 5. That's why it sold so well.
Yeah, fire
350
sale.
is where it needs to be.
But they were good fire sales. They wasn't like just like some.
I don't even think it was a fire sale. I think they were realizing that the price wasn't right, and they weren't sure whether they were they realized that there was an issue, and they couldn't figure out whether it was the price or the device.
Yeah, and then they changed it permanently, right?
Yeah, they dropped it to 400. It was 400 and 450, and now it's on sale again for $70 off
until Valentine's Day.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost bought another one.
The way you go on that Sony, you might just do it. And then now the wood grain is on sale too. Not on sale, but they lowered the price on that.
$400.
Get you some teak
with wood grain.
Some teak up in there.
It's $10 more for the wood grain with a 32 gig hard drive than what it was on Black Friday without it.
Damn. That's good stuff. All right, L. Same question. Original question.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to. The question was, what are we looking forward to, right?
Are you excited about the Lenovo Motorola thing? Or are you curious? Are you excited, or are you just curious and apprehensive about it?
I'm curious and a bit apprehensive, but I am looking forward to seeing some of these new devices that they may start to market. I hope for the best, and I think that they have a good team. As far as Motorola goes, Lenovo on the computer side, they usually do very well with like their tablets and making it very user friendly. Let's see that in the mobile devices in the phones. So I'm excited to see what's coming down the pipe for them. A little scared, but still excited.
Change your answer.
Look! I'm excited, but I am a little scared. I'm excited, but I'm a little scared.
How about you?
Curious. I mean, I'm not necessarily excited. Basically, there's nothing in the air to be excited, other than just us, I would say prophesizing, but just kind of like, hoping and hopes, dreams, and wishes or whatever. But definitely curious to see how the relationship will pan out probably won't see too much of that this year, but we may see something. Whether it be just an announcement, unveiling, or whatever. But like I said, just curious to see if they learn from each other. Definitely share the same views as you, Chris. Hoping that Motorola doesn't get lost in the sauce, because it's like they're their own legacy. Despite whatever happens, they'll need to be up front. So don't put them in the back of the bus, Lenovo. Yeah, so that's about it. Hopefully just see the best of both worlds. No R. Kelly.
Right.
I'm concerned because there's too many cell phone manufacturers that are falling by the wayside. HTC, Motorola, BlackBerry.
Yeah.
It's becoming a two-horse race with Samsung and Apple.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sony and LG are holding their own, but who knows how long it is before those two fall by the wayside. And
then what?
Right, exactly. All the companies that just make phones are falling by the wayside.
Yeah.
They got to be able to do more.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to, though. That should be a business enough.
But apparently not.
Why does Samsung should not be able to? It's not fair that Samsung can throw TV money at their phones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's an unfair advantage. It's just like,
Apple's throwing computer money at their phones.
It's like we can't.
Granted, the iPhone is the most profitable device that they sell.
Right.
They make more money off the iPhone than they do off any other device.
Well, we got to see what the Apple TV 2 comes with.
It's still not more profitable than the iPhone.
No, still not more profitable than the iPhone. No.
The iPhone costs $200 to make, and they sell it for $600.
You bring up a very good point there.
And then you drop the mic. Feedback, and Chris has walked off stage.
Right. Fade the black on him.
Yeah.
it's not fair that they can build a profit margin like that, and where Motorola and BlackBerry trying to be competitive can't do that kind of stuff.
Because they just make phones. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So it sucks that I would love to see. I actually like BlackBerry hardware. I think their software is terrible, and has only gotten worse as they've tried to catch up with everybody else.
Yeah.
But
I think 7 was a safe place, but yeah.
Right, but it just didn't. It wasn't competitive.
No.
I like their hardware though. I wish BlackBerry could continue to make hardware and continue to be a mobile presence and do something innovative. They're just not doing anything innovative. They're innovating for the sake of innovating, and that's not good. They're not innovating for the sake of this is a real need in the mobile space.
Yeah. Yeah, because imagine a Z30 running Android.
Right. Or Q10 with Android.
Yes, a Q10 with Android.
Nobody buying that shit.
I would. Nah.
I would buy a Q10 with Android if it had the right version of Android on it. You have to, you need a different version of Android for phones with keyboards.
Of course.
Like you need a different version of Android and iOS for tablets.
Yeah.
You need a different version for the different form factor. Each form factor should have its own version because it does different stuff. So I would love to see that from Android.
Yeah, cool.
To put more into diversifying their portfolio.
Right. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see that.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
It's not looking good though.
Not looking good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. I mean, we've gone on for quite some time despite technical difficulties. Thanks for everybody who stuck with us throughout that little hiccup and came back. And for those who missed out on the first half or the second half, you can catch the replay on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe at Tech Guy Smart Buy. And as always, thanks for watching. It's from Friday night. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
And we'll be back next Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, and hopefully without technical difficulties.
Amen to that.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed yet again. All right. Bid adieu. Take care. Boom.
Peace.
All right, later.